Hello, welcome to the podcast. I'm Chris, this is English Be Good, and today I'm going to be talking to my brother, young David Watson, yes, and we're going to be talking about supergroups. And Dave is a drummer, a music fan, he's actually a film writer, and I think he's creative and should have some interesting opinions on the topic. Okay, well, I hope you enjoy the podcast. Let's crack on. Today we're speaking about supergroups, and if you don't know what a supergroup is, maybe Dave can tell us. What's a supergroup, Dave?
Well, it's not like a superfood like broccoli or blueberries. It is when people put their fantasy band together, so they come up with the perfect imagined lineup for a group of musicians.
Yeah.
And sometimes people do dead or alive. I've actually erred on the side of alive today.
Sorry to interrupt. To err on the side of something. Normally we say to err on the side of caution, and it means to be especially careful rather than taking any risks or making a mistake.
But
Fair enough.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah. First of all, I thought I'd give a couple of examples. Led Zeppelin are considered to be a supergroup because I think the definition is if you've come from another existing group and you kind of join up to play together. A bit like the Travelling Wilburys as well. All of them had their own careers and then they came together.
And even the band Them Crooked Vultures, which was a mixture of Dave Grohl, John Paul Jones, and Josh Homme from Ocean Colour Scene. What are they called again?
Hold on. From
Queens of the Stone Age.
Queens of the Stone Age. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, today we've decided to, in secret, come up with our own supergroup members who we would choose to be in our supergroups. Are we going to be in the band as well, Dave, or are we just kind of the managers?
More making all the money from them. More just like, behind the selling T-shirts.
Exactly. All right then. So maybe we should go through the list. Shall we go through position order?
We start with the. Well, maybe we should start with the less, the obvious is to start with the lead singer, but let's, maybe to mix things up, start with the humble bass player.
So just a quick side note, to mix things up, Dave just said, is to basically to mix things, make it a bit more random. And we say up sometimes, but it doesn't really change the meaning. Okay, let's continue. Sorry about
that. No. So every now and again, you will pop up with like a little Chris's tips and explain some of our conversational tips, big tips.
Yeah. Okay then, so who have you got, Dave, for your lead singer?
Well, we were going to start with the bass player, weren't we? Because we're mixing things up.
Right, sorry mate. I didn't realise we were mixing quite that much.
It's a bit conventional to start with the singer. So my bass player choice, I had a few. This was tricky. I had a few sort of virtuoso bass players in my list, but I ended up going with someone melodic, someone in whose bass lines, they call them bass lines sometimes, don't they, in songs, the bass lines that are more distinctive and the sort of contribute to the song as well as forming the second part of the band's rhythm section. So the bass and the drums being the rhythm section. So I've gone with Paul McCartney.
Oh wow! I'm surprised.
Some people would think, hang on a minute, you're putting legendary Beatle Paul McCartney on bass in the background, but like I said, his bass playing is kind of amazing. If you listen to the likes of Abbey Road, you can even find it on YouTube. The whole album, just the bass, which and it's pretty impressive. When you isolate the bass only, you notice it's easier to notice how melodic and intricate some of his playing is. Yeah,
that's true actually. Yeah, I saw a video recently and someone commented on Paul McCartney being an amazing bass player that people don't really give him credit for it.
To be fair, he was doing a few other things as well, which sort of upstaged that.
Maybe he's more known as a songwriter more than anything.
Singer.
Yeah.
And a singer.
And a singer, yeah.
So what's your choice for bass?
Okay, well I thought you were going to select Flea from the Chili Peppers because we all know he's pretty capable. However, I didn't choose him either. I was going to go funky with Bootsy Collins, from Parliament, but he didn't really complement the rest of the band so much. So I decided to go for Phil Lynott. What band's he in again?
Boys Are Back in Town.
Yeah, Deep Purple, right? Not Deep Purple.
No.
My mind's gone blank.
Guess who just got back today?
Yeah, the Irish band.
The Boys Are Back in... Oh, fuck. Sorry. Can't remember.
Hold on. It's easy, isn't it? Oh, Jesus. I always think Deep Purple when I think of Phil Lynott, but
it's
no.
Not Deep
Gary
Purple.
Moore was in the band as well.
We can Google it, but this is
cheating.
We might have to edit this.
Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. It'll come to us in a minute. Well, Phil Lynott anyway. Okay.
Oh, Lynott. Speaks for himself.
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about the band because I think it sidetracks from him. Yeah.
No. Idiot, please here. The band's name is Thin Lizzy.
So I think because he's also got good vocals as well for adding to my vocal backing as well, or singing now and again. So I chose him for that, and because it's kind of bluesy rock, which fits with my other members of the band.
Okay, that's interesting that you have considered the genre of the band as a whole, rather than just picking superstars that might actually together create a bit of a mess in terms of mixing too much.
There might be a clash of egos or style.
Well, we could talk maybe at the end about how they'd actually get along on the tour bus.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. But in terms of just musically, the sort of collaboration, how that would sound. So that's interesting. You've gone for a bluesy rock vibe. Is that right?
Yes, correct. So okay, what's next on the list? What about? Go on.
Well, should we finish the rhythm section and hit the drummer up?
Okay.
This one, I it's pretty tricky for me.
Quick side note, sorry, I just said who have you gone for? To go for someone is to choose something, basically, to go for something. Okay, carry on, please.
I have gone for perhaps quite an obvious choice. It was difficult because I play the drums myself. I like a lot of different drummers for different reasons. I have considered some of the more sort of legendary, historic figures like Ginger Baker from Cream. Even John Bonham, who was obviously the powerhouse behind Led Zeppelin.
Yep.
But in the end, I've tried to modernize it and I've gone with Dave Grohl. And the reason is he's not the best drummer on the planet in terms of technicality, but in terms of creativity and in terms of power, I think he's got that going for him. And backing vocals, again, he can sing.
Yeah.
So it's all about the harmonies.
It helps, doesn't it?
In my group.
Yeah, if you look at bands like the Eagles and what's the drummer called again?
Don Henley.
Yeah, he can sing, couldn't he? Well, really well.
Yeah. He was
the band as well with what's his name? I forget everyone's name. Not Leroy. Something Helm in it. Leroy Helm. I can't remember his name. If anyone wants to write in with the name, no.
Hello, idiot, please again here. His name is Levon Helm. But you did get the surname right.
Anyway, my point was it's good to have a bit of multi-talent going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so I respect that, and I know you like Dave Grohl a lot, so I'm not so surprised at your choice. I had considered John Bonham as well from Led Zeppelin, but he's a hard hitter, and I don't know if it's too aggressive, his style, for my band. So for that reason, I've gone for actually Ginger Baker, who sadly died a couple of days ago, I think, wasn't it?
I wouldn't say sadly, actually, because he was an absolute git, wasn't he? He was an arsehole.
People do say that, don't they? Yeah.
Have you ever seen there's a really good documentary called Beware of Mr. Baker?
Yeah, I've seen some of it, not all of it.
And he's quite a cantankerous old man.
Right.
He tends to beat people as much as he beats the drums, I would suggest.
Right, fair enough. No, but it's still always sad to lose a talent, isn't it? That somebody has contributed musically to the world of music. Okay, so he's the drummer from Cream, in case anyone, Eric Clapton's one of his earlier bands.
That was almost a supergroup as well, actually.
Yeah, because it was Jack Bruce, wasn't it, as well on bass, who sang. I can't remember what band he had been in. before.
Yardbirds or something. I don't know.
Don't know.
No.
We'll have to look it up.
Oh, if you're not sure, always just mention the Yardbirds. It sounds like you know stuff.
Yeah, everyone's been in the Yardbirds.
Yeah.
So yeah, good point. Where were we? Ginger
I think
Baker.
Ginger Baker reminds me a little bit of Mitch Mitchell's, who is Jimi Hendrix's drummer. They both do quite big drum solos, big tom fills, but also quite sort of almost tribal and rhythmic. And Ginger Baker ended up going to Africa and studying African rhythm later on in his career. He got quite obsessed with...
sorry to butt in, another phrase about to interrupt. You just said end up, which is to how would you say it? What's the meaning of that? To finish.
To arrive at. To end
arrive
up
at a point. Yeah, to arrive at a point. He ended up playing in Africa, yeah.
In the end, yeah.
But I think with him, he's really versatile. He knows when to hold back as well and play softer kind of things. But he's also got the capability, doesn't he, to give it a jazzy element or...
Yeah, definitely.
So he's not just a plugger, like a plodder, or just smacks the shit out the drums. Shouldn't say that.
You can swear on podcasts.
Oh, you can actually, can't you? It's real English at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay, so drums sorted. What's next?
Do you want to explain bang the shit out of them, or is that self-explanatory?
Yeah, it's just you can use shit in most parts of speech, really, can't you?
Yeah.
To bang something very hard until it shits.
Till the shit comes out.
Yeah, something like probably where it came from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
next up, let's go for maybe. I've gone for two guitar players because a rhythm and a lead.
Same.
However, how you have two? Okay, good. Well, in reality, they're probably both lead guitarists, but who cares?
Yeah.
For me. Okay, tell me what you've got.
Well, in terms of lead, I am going with the guitarist from Extreme, Nuno Bettencourt.
Oh, I didn't consider him.
Yeah.
Yeah, good choice.
He's a funky... He plays very funky, and I mean, there's a little bit of shredding in there, but I would suggest it's not... Again, it's melodic and it's very intricate, but they're very catchy riffs as well. So I think in terms of riff and rhythm, I think he plays incredibly well.
Yeah, you're right. I would have chosen him. Okay, I've gone for Peter Green from the early Fleetwood Mac, the blues records.
Yeah.
Just because he's got a really sweet touch to his playing, and he wrote some great songs like Black Magic Woman.
Yeah. Albatross.
Yeah, exactly. That's a beauty. Sadly, he took too much LSD and kind of lost his personality somehow.
Yeah.
Lost himself, and he was never really the same. And I actually went to a concert to see him and ended up bumping into him in the aisle when I went to the bathroom. Hello, quick grammar note. Sorry to interrupt. To bump into someone means to meet them unexpectedly. It's quite bizarre. Yeah, and I patted him on the back, which maybe I shouldn't have done.
What did he say? What did he say? Something?
Nothing.
Did he?
I just said to him like, great gig, Pete," and patted him on the back, and he just stared at the ground, and it looked like he was just concentrating on getting out, basically, and one foot after the next. But I had heard that he didn't really know where he was half the time. He kept on losing touch with reality.
Yeah.
Because,
it's a good job. I mean, in some ways, that makes you feel better. He didn't just blank you.
Yeah,
It was a mental breakdown that caused that.
So I guess I would say Peter Green when he was still with it. No, with it means alert and responsive to reality.
Yeah, present,
yeah. We are not mad, or you haven't lost your marbles, which is an idiom that means to go crazy.
Lose your mind. Lose your brain.
So anyway,
good choice. Yeah. Good, very bluesy. I almost, on the bluesy scale, I almost went with Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Quick note, Dave just said went with. I almost went with. To go with something basically means to choose it.
Because he again is a very good blues player, but I was concerned he might be a little one-dimensional for my supergroup.
Yeah, maybe it could be a bit of one sound only, couldn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's incredible, but he tends to dominate the entire band. And when you've got a supergroup, you need to let everyone shine a little bit.
That's true. Okay, who else have you got on guitar?
All right, on guitar, I actually thought I was trying to think now, rather than just throw more virtuosos in, I went with a good rhythm section again, rhythm guitarist, I should say, and I went with Malcolm. What's his surname? Malcolm from AC/DC, who passed away recently in the last year or so.
It's funny. I was imagining someone from school called Malcolm, but for some reason it's not him.
No.
Well, it's Angus Young, Malcolm Young.
Malcolm Young, that's it. So he wasn't doing the big solos, but in terms of a rhythm guitarist, I mean, sometimes with the AC/DC songs, I think it's more about the gaps in between the chords than it was about the big fast.
The silences, yeah.
So I think he'd be a good addition.
He was a great songwriter too, actually, and he came up with like Back in Black was his riff,
right? Which is basically chords, isn't it? It's a chord riff.
Yeah. All of those kind of big chunky chord riffs were his, really, and Angus did a few more of the technical ones and the riff-based kind of ones, and all the solos, of course. Yeah. Okay, good choice. Solid, very solid. Okay, keeping it bluesy for me, I went for Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top. Yeah, because I love the guy. He's got a lot of charisma.
Good vocal.
Great vocal. A lot of subtle style. He plays really well, but he doesn't show off. Show off meaning to be, I don't know, to show everybody what you've got all the time, to kind of show how good you are, isn't it? To show off.
To brag or to
Yeah, exactly. So I thought I like his style and his attitude and his look. So it fits in nicely with my other blues guys.
Yeah, he's very good. Very good.
Okay. So that leaves, I guess, the singer, doesn't it? Yeah.
It does. Okay. Shall I go first, or do you want to?
Yeah, go on.
Well, this was tricky, but in the end, I've chosen Prince.
Wow.
Because he is... I feel like you need a charismatic frontman, and he's definitely got the charisma, but also he can jump on the guitar and play as well. And I like the fact that he can sing, the high... He's got an incredible range, high stuff, and then the really low, funky stuff. So it's a sort of soul-y rock style. And when I think of him doing 4-part harmonies, pretty much with him, Paul McCartney, Dave Grohl, pretty solid. And even Nuno Bettencourt can sing a little. So
actually, there's a strong funk element in your band, isn't there?
Yeah, it's pretty funky, I'd say. Yeah.
And also, he can play drums and bass and everything, can't he? So
yeah, he's a good all-rounder. So if someone hurts themselves, has an injury.
Anyone's off sick, get Prince in there. Yeah, could keep him on the bench. I should explain that as well. Probably to be on the bench is the in football or any sport where you have a substitute player waiting on the sidelines.
Yeah.
And anyway, so my singer, I struggled here. I wrote a list of different singers I really like and came up with quite a long list. And I've been torn between, I've explained in the past, I think. It means kind of divided, where you can't decide between two things. So I'm torn between Jim Morrison, who's got a really strong bluesy voice, and he's a front man. He's a bit wild. Don't know, he might upset the rest of the band, or otherwise I thought Robert Plant. And the reason is because he can do rock, but he can also do very soft, beautiful, melodic stuff as well.
Yeah.
If you listen to him in his solo career and when he sang with Alison Krauss, it's he knows how to do the soft style as well.
In the end, I think he's probably a little bit more versatile than Jim Morrison.
Yeah. I think so.
Good choices. I was wondering if we should have, if you're going to have any keyboard or piano in the back, sideline. And I thought it'd be quite nice for Paul if I brought Linda McCartney back. He'll appreciate it. Plus, also, I'm vegetarian. And she makes a really good veggie burger.
She might come up with some new recipes for you.
Yeah. Not just because she's I mean, I'm happy to cook them, but I feel like we'd get on well talking about sausages.
Fair enough. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I was gonna choose a keyboard player, but I'm not such a keyboard guy in general. I guess I would probably go for Ray Manzarek from The Doors. He's more organ, isn't he?
He is, and my only concern with him is that he might become a bit of a merry-go-round. His style is so distinctive and it's so iconic, but it is also it gets a little bit psychedelic, and your blues might get swamped by.
Yeah, maybe. Stevie Wonder would, I think, dominate again, take over too much.
Stevie, God,
it's too funky. He would go well in your band, actually.
He would actually. No, Stevie would be.
He's got the funk and what a voice. He was on my list as a potential singer as well.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah, I also considered songwriter, but you've already got one in Paul McCartney, really. Because I really like Ray Davies as a songwriter from the Kinks. Yeah,
he used to be in the Yardbirds, didn't
he? No, yeah, just the Kinks, but. As his lyrics are really good, and the style of his songs, I don't know, he's got something quite quirky about him. But I don't know if he would do the blues so much. He's a bit more of a Cockney.
He's not from the
London guy, isn't he?
You want a bit more of a Muscle Shoals blues man.
Yeah, even someone like Mick Jagger would work well. Obviously, he's done loads of blues, hasn't he? So
Mick's good. Mick's very good.
But yeah, there you go. So. I was going to suggest if we had to make a hybrid, but it would be too difficult, I think, if we had to select 3 of mine and 3 of yours to put them together. But it's not going to work, is it? I think yours is more funky. Mine is more blues.
I think the point you made at the beginning about sure you put the right people together, it's a bit like football team. If you did put 4 strikers on there, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, true. I've seen those concerts that Eric Clapton organises, the Crossroads Festival, I think it's called. Sometimes you have 4 amazing lead guitarists on stage together, and it's not quite as impressive as maybe it should be.
Yeah.
Everyone's just waiting to do a solo and outdo each other, and sometimes you lose the musical element of it.
I think you're right.
The feeling, it's about who can play the most notes sometimes. Yeah. Other people I thought about, Billy Corgan, of course, from the Smashing Pumpkins.
I did also consider his drummer from the Smashing Pumpkins, Jimmy Chamberlain.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's a very amazing, inventive percussionist, and it sort of drives the music. But in the end, I sort of wanted more of the simpler rock beats that Dave Grohl brings.
I'd thought about Eddie Vedder as a singer as well, because I think he's got an amazing voice, but maybe it's too distinctive.
Exactly.
You're just going to sound like Pearl Jam.
Exactly. Yeah. Interesting. There you go.
There you go. Good stuff. So thanks for joining me on this, Dave, and contributing. It's been really interesting. Yeah.
We'll do superfoods next time.
Yeah. Speak soon. Take it easy.
All right. Speak soon.
Okay, thanks so much for listening today. My name's Chris. This is English Be Good. If you've enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe, share us on the social media, tell your friends. I'll be back soon with another interesting musical podcast for us to improve our English with. Until then, take care and goodbye for now. Bye for now.